some reason. If I could have your attention. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We are so excited that you're here. I hope you were able to get some refreshments. Thank you to the Mooresville and Lake Norman Exchange Club for providing refreshments tonight. Thank you. So tonight we have a very special musician with us. His name's Eli Yacinthe. You've probably seen him play locally. If you haven't, you are in for a great show. So Eli, some of his career highlights, he's performed at Merle Fest. If you've ever heard of Merle Fest and haven't been, you need to go. It is a world-renowned music festival at the Wilkes Community College the last weekend in April. And Eli will be playing there again this year. So that's a great venue. He's also performed to sold-out crowds on full scholarship at Nashville's Fine Arts Summer Academy. And he will be attending Berklee School of Music in Boston this September. Extremely impressive. So Eli rocks the house with a bevy of local venues. So where critics in the world classify music into specific genres, Eli defies categorization. So we're really happy to have him here. Please give him a hand.
Get a little warm up there, get everybody loose. Thank you guys so much for having me, and this is a new thing for me, talking in front of people like this, so thank you guys for listening, and you guys bear with me here. I want to start out by saying thank you to Susan and Alejandra for keeping me organized enough to make sure I'm here on time and everything like that, and everybody helping out with the snacks. Really appreciate it. My name is Eli. I was born about 10 minutes down the road at Iredell Memorial Hospital in Statesville, and I've been playing guitar since I was about 10 years old. One of the things I always lead with when I tell people about my experience with guitar is how much I hated it at first. I absolutely hated guitar. I was 10 years old. I came home from school. My dad had just bought me an Xbox, which was the first problem. He bought me an Xbox, and he handed me a guitar that day, and he was like, "You're gonna learn how to play guitar." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna go play Xbox." He's like, "No, I don't think so." Anyway, so it was not, as they say, I think in the Bible, something like, it was not love at first strum. My hands hurt. My hands hurt really bad. I used to cry. I hated it so much, but I'm so thankful today that my dad persisted and really made me learn how to play it, because it's like my passion now. So for you little ones over here, if your parents ever tell you to do something, that's why. They know better, okay? All right. But anyways, yeah, so I grew up doing music my whole life, sang in the church with my mom a lot. I owe a lot of my, I think, vocal abilities to my mom, just listening to her sing. She would always sing harmonies. She never would sing the melody. I could never get her to just sing the normal notes. She always had to sing the fancy ones, so I was like, I'm going to copy her. And that's kind of where I developed my ear over the years. And my dad taught me to play guitar. Used to come home from school and just show me different songs, and each time I would come back and come back and come back and be like, I got it down, show me the next one, show me the next one. So definitely something I think I was super eager for. And I always try to, that's one of the things with, I think, guitar or really any passion that you have is there's some days where I don't want to do it. Some days I don't want to pick this thing up, but there's days when I really need to, and it's one of the things that I feel like saves me a lot. So it's always good to have something like that. Anyways, I want to show you a tune I've been working on, and it's a little sappy. So most of the tunes that I've been writing are love tunes, and like figuring out what is love, as I get older and older. So this song is called If I Leave, and it's actually about me leaving for school this fall, going to Berklee in September, which I'm super excited about. But there's a lot of great people here, and just like a good community that I'm super sad to say goodbye to at the same time, So this song is about someone special in my life, and kind of some of the feelings that come with knowing that I've got to leave. So here we go. Uh-oh. Easily. No. If I leave, would I finally have the strength to let you go? Would my mind be overtaken by your soul? Your soul. Oh, how it glows. And if I stay, would I wind up simply pushing you away? 'Cause I'm scared to break your heart, I'm scared to say always. Why can't we take it day by day? And why am I afraid of anything but temporary, anything but maybe there's a way? If a will is all it takes, will you love me even though I've made some big mistakes? 'Cause I know I didn't always treat you well. Can you love me like you did before I fell? If I stay, I stay. Thank you. Have any of you ever written this song? Anybody in here ever written this song? There we go. So it's a constant learning process every single day. And the thing that they don't tell you about songwriting before you start is that you'll wake up one day and you'll think you are just the best songwriter in the world and you got it figured out. The next day you'll hate everything that you've ever created. So it's important to push through those times, even when you make stuff, that you think is not the best. Or one thing that I take comfort in is that, no matter what I write, I'll never assume that everybody will like it, but I'm pretty certain that at least a few people will, and if it can connect to a few people, then that really is enough for me. So, but anyways, yeah. So I've been writing music, playing with my band lately. I'm a little out of my element. I'm used to having about 7 guys with me right here, so I feel a little bit naked up here, but it's super cool and super different. So, like I said, I'm used to playing with my band lately, but back in the day, I did a lot of solo gigs. That was basically all I did, just me, my guitar, this little loop pedal down here, which allows me to be a one-man band. So I'm going to give you guys a little one-man band action. This is a jazz tune. It's called Autumn Leaves, and it's one that I used to do way back when I was doing the solo thing. So. Thank you. So I just wanted to talk a little bit. Like I said, I'm a little bit out of my element here, but I was thinking, I was like, geez, no pressure, right? Like, what do I tell these young minds, about what they're supposed to do and all this and that? But one of the things I was thinking about was I've always thought, the world would be, not a perfect place, but a near perfect place if everybody had one good friend, So my advice to you guys would be to be super nice to everybody you meet and look for people who don't have friends and make sure they have a friend, okay? Because as we know, the world is a turbulent place right now. So, and I think music is definitely one of the things that pulls us all together, like this, things like this. And in the music community, I've found a lot of strength. A lot of my best friends have come out of music, and I'm super excited to keep releasing music. I've been writing a lot lately, sort of trying to capture these snapshots of my life with sound, which is how I kind of view songwriting at the current moment. Now in 20 years, come back to me, and I'll probably tell you something completely different. But that's where I'm at right now, and for sure. So I think I've got one more tune for you guys, and then we're going to do a little Q&A, some questions and answers, all right? This tune is a tune that I thought was pretty appropriate, and it's by a guy named Ray LaMontagne, and he actually wrote it about the pandemic, and it's called, what is it called? Oh, it's called We'll Make It Through. That's what it's called. So here we go. North Carolina weather is the worst weather for guitars. Worst weather for acoustic guitars. It's changing all the time, so we do our best, though, to stay in tune. Had our share of the pain, of the clouds and the rain. Lean on me and I'll lean on you, and together we'll get through. We always do. We always do. I know you're scared 'cause you can't see the light. You toss and turn through the night, holding me and I'm holding you, and together we'll get through. We all 'cause you can't see the light. You gotta believe it's gonna be alright. Lean on me and I'll lean on you, and together we'll get through. We always do. We always do. We always do. Thank you. So this is a loop pedal. So what it does is it basically allows me to layer whatever I want with the guitar. I can show you again a little example. So I can put down like a groovy bass line or something, you know. And then free hands right here. I can do whatever I want. I can beat on the guitar, you know. Yeah, all day long. So that's kind of one way I practiced a lot too. Being at home in my room by myself, I got one of these, and I was like, oh man, now I can really do some stuff. So I spend like hours up there just looping different stuff, really practicing with myself, and it's something that will really expose you as well. I heard we got some percussionists up here keeping the time for me while I was playing. This thing will expose your sense of time, because one thing about music is, you know, like I'm sure as a lot of you probably know if you play, a lot of times you think your time is way better than it really is. And whenever you've got a machine looping it for you, you'll hear all the flaws. It'll go back and sound like it lagged for like 2 seconds, but it's really you. So yeah, this is a great tool, and I should definitely suggest it. It's called a loop pedal for anyone who's trying to practice their instrument. Yeah. Yes. So I don't claim to play any other instruments, but I play around on them. But no, I've never been taught or gotten lessons on any other instrument. But I do like to play the drums. I like to play the piano. I don't play them well, but I do play them. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Well, actually, I've been a songwriter for a long time. My first song, and my mom will never let me forget this. She always quotes me on this one, but this was my first song, pretty much verbatim. It was like, girl, you make me feel like $1 million bill. That was my first song. So I promise you, that was verbatim. Those are the lyrics. And so that's how I think I became a songwriter. But the thing is, it's a constant thing. So even if you try it at first, you know, sometimes there's days where I write a song and I really don't like it, but I'll go eat something. I'll even just leave the song alone, and I'll wake up the next morning and I love it. So songwriting is one of those things that changes every day. So it's something you keep working at. You know what I mean? But yeah, good question. Yes, sir. What's the biggest what? The biggest crowd I've played in front of. Well, when I was, I think, probably 13 years old or something like that, I did the acoustic kids showcase at this festival called Merlefest, which my band is playing at this year. But we got to play on the cabin stage, and I think total there was like 6,000 or something people in the whole crowd up there. So that was cool. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So clearly music's your passion, but you mentioned like some days you wake up and you don't feel like doing it. So
Right.
what helps you push through on those days?
That's a good question, because it's been so relevant lately. I mean, life has been crazy for all of us, you know what I mean? And I think especially as a young person, like I I feel like I was only just getting used to what the normal world was like before COVID hit, like having some freedom, being able to go out. And so then to have that taken away from me was definitely like a big deal. Um, Lately, though, really, I've kind of chalked it up to decisions, and I think life is so much about decisions, and I try to be active about every day when I wake up. I will actively make a decision and say, today I'm going to make the right choices, and I mean that can mean so many things. And for me, my dream is to play music and to do it professionally. So every day when I wake up, that's just one of the things that I decide. Like today, I'm gonna work at it, even if it sucks a little bit. You know what I mean? But for sure, and also having good friends too. I owe a lot of my musical talent and all that to my friends who really push me and give me a boost on the days when I don't feel so good. So for sure, that's why it's always important to make sure everybody has a friend. So yeah. Yes, sir.
Why Berkeley instead of GTI or Belmont?
Yeah. So actually, I toured Belmont, and I fell in love with it, and I was like, I love Nashville, I love this place. I also had some friends who were planning to go to Belmont at the time, and I was stuck on it. I was like, for sure. Well, my mom, I guess, see, my mom is way more organized than I am. She did some research, and she was like, you'll love Berkeley, at least let me take you up to Boston, and we'll go on a tour. And I was like, no, Mom, I'm in love with Belmont. The campus, everything. Well, we went, and of course, Berkeley blew my mind. I mean, over 130 different countries represented at one school in the heart of Boston, and just the faculty they have, top notch, the facilities. And so, yeah, I think for me, too, it's a lot about the people. And when I went up to visit, and not to say anything bad about Belmont, but I definitely felt a different energy there. That was very inviting, very warm, and that's kind of the place that I want to exist in right now in my life. So I think that was one of the big reasons I chose Berkeley. Yeah. My band, so the first place I ever played with my band, actually, we got someone very important to the arts community here. Give a hand for Mr. Bill Warren over here. Yeah, Performing Arts Live. Great person, and has also pushed me a lot and given me a ton of opportunities, including playing at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. And so my first gig with my band was Bill called me, and he had always believed in me and what I was doing, and from the start. And at this point, I hadn't played with the band yet, but he was throwing a Valentine's event in downtown Statesville, and he asked me to bring a little group and play there. So that was the first time I played with my band. Yeah. My favorite song that I made, the one that I showed you guys, If I Stay, is one of my favorites for sure, and I think that's just because $1 Million Bill was also a good one. I mean, hey, come on now. You can manifest a lot with songs. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I was going for when I was young. But no, my favorite, that's a hard question, and it also changes every day. I would say right now that song is one of my favorites, but only because I think the more and more I get into songwriting, the more and more it becomes like a natural process, and I just let it happen as opposed to like forcing myself to write. And that was one that came out, like just flowed out of me. You have, as a songwriter, you have some songs that you sit and you work on for months and months and months and chip away at them, and they become really, I think in a certain way they become really appealing to like the crowds, because those are the songs that have the cool hooks and all the fancy stuff. But whenever you sit down and a full song, you feel something so deeply that a full song comes out in an hour, then that's just like you develop a different relationship with that tune, because it really marks a place in your life, and it's something you can look back. It, like I talk about it as like a snapshot of my life in sound. So I think that song is really special to me because of that. Yeah. Yeah. The same hospital? I bet, how many people in here were born at Iredell Memorial Hospital? We probably got a few in here. Yeah. There we go. But that's awesome, though. Oh, I listen to everything. So, I like Frank Sinatra. I like James Taylor. I like some metal music. I like country music. I listen to everything. Right now, I've been really big on, I don't know if anybody know Tedeschi Trucks in here. Tedeschi Trucks, those guys. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I've started. Wait, come on now. I've started like probably 150 songs in my lifetime. I have finished maybe 5 or 6, and then there's like a 30 or so that are this close to being done. But you know, like one of the curses of being a songwriter is every time I sit down to finish an old song, I start a new one. So yeah, good question. Anybody else? Any last question? The Eli Yacinthe band right now. We're looking for another one, but yeah, for right now it's Eli Yacinthe band. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say.
So tell us where you'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm leaving at 6 a.m. to go to Nashville tomorrow. Yeah, playing on Broadway in Nashville, and then I'm leaving at 6 a.m. the next day to come back for a wedding. So, so yeah, but we'll be at Acme Feed and Seed in Nashville. Yes, sir. I am on Spotify. I have some covers on Spotify, and it's under Eli Yacinthe Band. And then also soon I'll have some new original music that I've been working on. I'm excited to release, which will be coming out in the near future. Yes, sir. I sing in my band, or at least I try to. My favorite member in my band. Oh, geez, this kid is a PR nightmare right here. You know, I know it's cliche to say, but I really can't answer that, and it's mostly because they are all my best friends. I mean, I've gotten really lucky to, like, the people that I play with on the regular are like some of the people I'm closest to, you know, and that's really not always true for bands. So this is definitely a family situation, and so I love them all. Yeah, I have favorites on certain days, but don't tell them that. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever trade off and do the percussion in your band?
The percussion. So sometimes I will bring a shaker every now and then, which is way harder to play well than you think. I'll bring a shaker, and because I am very rooted in percussion, and I'll mess around on the drums. Sometimes we'll switch instruments. We have a lot of multi-instrumentalists, so sometimes I'll hop on drums, and the drummer will hop on the guitar, and then the trumpet player will play like the keys or something. So we try to have fun with it. But yeah. I do not have a wife. No, I don't plan to be married for quite some time. Do I play anywhere else? Like, you mean anywhere else, like other than here? Oh yeah, I played a bunch of different places. I'm playing in Nashville tomorrow. Then I'm playing in Charlotte on Sunday. Yeah, Charlotte on Sunday, Mardi Gras party from 3 to 5. It's called Brewers at 401 Yancey. And it's a big Mardi Gras event they're having there. We'll have the full 8-piece band. So if anybody's in Charlotte, 3 to 5. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Well, actually, I came across someone named Tommy Emmanuel, if anybody's familiar with Tommy Emmanuel. And I came across him online, and at the time, my relationship with guitar was kind of rocky. Like, you know, I was a big crybaby. I was a crybaby. And my fingers hurt a lot. But when I saw him play, I was like, okay, now I know that I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I think that kind of gave me the energy to sort of push through the pain. And then eventually you just stop feeling anything on the tips of your fingers in this hand. So the first song I made with my band, it's a song called, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of it. We haven't played it in so long. It's actually, you know what? The first song I ever made with my band is called Sweet Baby Ribs. And the song has nothing to do about ribs, but my drummer was really hungry that day, and I asked him what we should call the song, and that's what he said. So Sweet Baby Ribs was the first song. We'll have to work on the name, but... My least favorite song. Oh, man. I don't know. Probably, my least favorite song right now is probably the one that I'm working on and about to release, but it's just because as a songwriter, we tend to get fixated, or like we focus a lot. So when I write a new song, sometimes I'll record it and then I'll listen to it and I'll listen to it again. And then I'll listen to it again, and my friends will be like, Eli, come on. Like I'll have my headphones on for hours and hours just listening to the same song over and over, figuring out where I want to go. So my least favorite song right now is probably the one that I'm working on the most because I can't seem to finish it. But I think it'll be, one of my favorites once I'm done. 10 years down the road, I'll look back and I'll really love it. What's my favorite song of all time? I don't know if I have a favorite song of all time. That's a good question. I have to think about that one. Some of James Taylor's. You ever heard of James Taylor? No? You should listen to him. His lyricism and songwriting is some of my favorite, and I think speaks to, like, it's pretty timeless and just sends good messages, and so I like that music a lot. Eric Church, yeah, I have. He does country, right? Yeah, I have heard of Eric Church. Yes, I am. We're going to be playing from 8 to 10 tomorrow night, and then driving back early in the morning. Do I play every day when I go to Nashville? I'm only going to Nashville for one day tomorrow, and I'm playing. But as far as, like, in general, I don't pick up the guitar nearly as much as I should. I should play it way more and practice way more, but life is super, super busy, so I don't always get to play it. But yeah. You want to take a few more? A favorite cover? Yeah, we like to do Billie Jean, but we actually do a version of it by a group called the Civil Wars, and it's like, instead of like that fast pace, it's super, super slow. And I mean, that might not be my favorite, but I just love anything that's like taking a song and making it something completely different texturally than what it was, originally. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. That one. That Billie Jean.
What's your favorite band of all time?
Honestly, I have to say Tedeschi Trucks right now. Yeah, I had a pretty cool experience. I actually saw them last year at Merle Fest, and I somehow ended up like 3 seats away from Derek Trucks, and I was just, I had met him before the show. I actually got to meet him. I shook his hand, didn't talk to him long, but something about that band, it's just like the size, but you can also just tell that they're a real family, and the way that they all work together, it's like everybody nobody's there to like be a solo act. They really do function as a unit, and that's do what?
All for the song.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that I always try to incorporate into my own group is everybody fitting in and making space where they can for everybody to add to the music. So there's 8 people in my band, sometimes 9. We got a trumpet, saxophone, trombone, a drummer. I play guitar and sing. We have a guy who plays mandolin. His name is Jonah Horton. He's out of this world. He plays like jazz mandolin. We've got keys, and then what am I missing? And bass. Yeah.
Eli, you said you learned the guitar from your
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you take lessons from anybody else?
I took lessons for about a month. So my dad started teaching me, and I went and I took lessons for about a month, and the teacher would go, all right, you got that? And I was like, no. So I quit lessons, and the internet has been my biggest teacher. So yes, I definitely learn a lot from like watching other people play for sure. It's not all by ear, but yeah, the internet, YouTube is my teacher. All right, well, thank you guys so much. I was super glad to be here. Thank you guys. You all have a good night.
Thank you, Eli. That was fabulous. I appreciate you all coming out. I want to thank the Mooresville Lake Norman Exchange Club one more time for hosting the refreshments. I want to thank Iredell Arts Council for their partnership in helping us to promote this series. And just so you all know, the musicians that are featured each month are volunteering their time. They're coming out and playing and giving their personal stories. So thank you, Eli, for that. We appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.